During the years I worked the case, yes, he had only ever been active during the dark.
He was a fair-haired man, dressed in black.
I only got a glimpse of it. He sort of had these black lines down his face, almost like a zebra pattern.
Well, it happened so quick.
I didn't see much, yeah.
On the 15th of April 2008, Nathan and Mel Martins were making their way through Rundle Park after eating dinner in town. In the darkness of the park, three men pressed their advantage and attacked the young couple.
It was late, 11:30. Mel and I had finished going to a movie. We were walking back to the car through the parklands, and it was completely dark, so I never saw the attacker come out and hit me over the head.
Nathan was out for most of what had happened.
Yeah, he knocked me out.
So what happened next?
Three men ran out of the dark and Nathan went down and then one of them punched me in the face. I was on the ground and they started to attack me. I screamed and I tried to fight them off. And then I heard this bone crunching sound. One of the men was lying on the ground unconscious. The other two had let me go and that's when he came out. One of the attackers had a knife and this man Vigilante, just turned around and stabbed the guy.
The unidentified man fatally stabbed 24-year-old Mark Brody in the neck. 20-year-old Samuel Brody and 21-year-old Paul Weston were arrested 15 minutes later when the police arrived. The men were treated for blunt force trauma and minor lacerations. They were tried and incarcerated for 4.5 years. A formal request to interview SAPOL about the many cases we had encountered was declined, but one retired detective contacted us. For his protection, we have been asked to censor his identity.
Back in 1986, about a year and a half after the case had opened, a state bill was passed in secret to protect this vigilante. Meanwhile, we're out there trying our hardest to bring him in. The legislation was written and enacted specifically with the vigilante in mind. And you have to realise a man was running around the streets of Adelaide in the dead of night, finding thugs and administering his own style of justice. Now that sort of thing can alarm people.
No parliamentary record was discovered, and the Government of South Australia refused to comment on such a, quote, ridiculous matter. Nonetheless, the details of our source were demanded. We declined. Why shouldn't the public know about him?
Oh, I think they should, but the state government believed it would encourage people to risk their lives to join this man. Now, in the case file, it mentions the possibility of there being a secret gang of vigilantes rather than just the one. Well, the regularity of his appearances has never indicated that he was anyone else than just one man, a very dedicated man. If it were the case that there is a secret society of vigilantes working the streets, I'd say they're rather lazy, wouldn't you?
On the 22nd of December 1999, Matthew Berry and his brother Jason were in their last hour before closing their shop for 10 days over Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, it was while I was having a smoko break. I was out in the back alley. This guy came up to me and asked me for a light. When I went to get him a light out, he said, "I'll have your wallet as well." I looked at him and said, "You've got to be joking, mate." And that's when he just smashed me straight in the face. Then out of nowhere, this guy just tackles him, starts beating the shit out of him. It was unreal.
Yeah, he just ran up and fucking bang! Yeah. Knocked him to the ground and wasn't a fight at all, mate.
It was all caught on tape. But 1 minute this guy was there helping me out, next minute he was gone. Just left the mugger unconscious in front of me. Well, he woke up in hospital with severe concussion and a copper standing over his bed, but he got his just desserts in the end. 5 years in jail.
Yeah, it didn't. All he could do in court was whinge how the bloke that bashed him didn't get arrested.
33-year-old Jared Bruce was arrested shortly thereafter. Like our previous case, he was sent to hospital. He suffered head trauma and a dislocated shoulder as an outcome of the fight.
Oh, he knows how to fight. Definitely had a significant amount of martial arts training. So he can disarm men with guns and knives using nothing but his hands.
G'day, Keith Conlon on Breakfast Radio on 5AA. We're starting today with something different. We're finally revealing a deep cover-up that I've been personally fascinated by for years. You probably know the rumours. That's right, the Adelaide Vigilante. Now, we've mentioned him before on the program, but today, for the first time, the exclusive full story. What we know about him. There's a student film now researching the man and interviewing the victims who've chosen to talk. And as well, we're hearing evidence only found recently that may indicate a group or even a club of vigilantes under legal protection.
The mystery of this faceless vigilante is more complicated than most could know. Further evidence indeed indicated that the vigilante, or a succession of trained fighters, had been delivering criminals to the police for over 60 years. After a call to the public for evidence, we received a number of photographs and phone calls concerning the vigilante. None quite like this one. Rachelle GLYNN is 85 years old. She is the oldest case we could find involving the vigilante.
It was in 1951. I was coming home from my work and a man attacked me.
Don't make a sound.
He grabbed me and pinned me to the ground. He started to pull at my clothes and I just closed my eyes. And then he was gone. Someone else was there. He beat my attacker severely. And then he turned around and looked at me. I remember feeling scared out of my wits. And yet, strangely enough, safe.
No record could be found of the incident. The police report has most likely been lost to time. Some may pose the questions. Is there a secret society of heroes in Adelaide? Is the state government keeping it secret? Are the police forced to keep silent? You can be the judge. This average Joe hero has saved countless lives, has aided police in catching the criminals, and that has resulted in safer streets. He does it all without a face, and without the need for praise. Do I believe it?